Welcome to Vacuum Wars and to our best Shark carpet cleaner competition. Shark only recently entered the carpet cleaner market, but in our overall competition video in 2024, where we tested all the major carpet cleaners, Shark's flagship at the time, the EX201 Stain Striker, surprised us by getting first place. Since then, Shark has been very busy and has released a lot of new carpet cleaner models with different features and different price points. So for this video, we bought all of their new carpet cleaners for ourselves and put them through a bunch of tests, including a redesigned stain reduction test using a colorimeter. And after all of this testing, we were surprised to see that almost all of their new carpet cleaners outperformed their previous flagship, showing that Shark is really improving the design. But the question is, which one of these new models is currently the best? In this video, I'll go over everything we found and announce our favorite overall Shark carpet cleaner and best value pick. So links in the description to all the winners on Amazon and to the Vacuum Wars best carpet cleaner list on our website, and let's get started. At a high level, Shark has two basic products. One larger type that has a hose attached, which you can use for scrubbing difficult stains or above floor cleaning tasks, and a slightly smaller and lighter type with no hose option that is a bit cheaper. The first generation of these types were the EX201 and the EX121, but since then they have released several others with redesigned elements, including their new flagship, the EX300 series, of which we bought the EX304. One interesting thing that Shark is doing that no other company that I know of is doing is that the ones that have hoses, the 151, 201, 251, and 304, all have those hoses on board, meaning that they're always on the cleaner. With others, you need to go find the hose and go through the process of attaching it to the machine when you want to use it. But because the Shark's hose is on board, kind of like a normal vacuum cleaner, it makes it much more convenient to pull off the hose and use it, which is a big win. As for the basics, all of their machines clean carpets in the same basic way. You fill their clean water tank with water and their included cleaning solution and turn it on. All of them have two modes, one of which uses more water that they call deep clean and one which uses less water and thus dries faster. They all automatically dispense water as you vacuum back and forth over the carpet, so no need for a trigger like most other carpet cleaner designs. Their old flagship and their new flagship are the only models that have a third tank where you put undiluted oxy solution, which mixes automatically with the other water solution tank. This is a unique feature as well with Shark, and we will see later with the stain tests if this had a noticeable impact on stain reduction. All these Shark carpet cleaners have really good ergonomics, meaning that they are light and easy to push like a well-designed vacuum cleaner. Even their heaviest one, the 304, is still 1 pound lighter than the average carpet cleaner that we have tested. One interesting thing to note is that one of them, the EX151, is a bit unique because it's kind of a hybrid of the larger models with a hose and the smaller ones without a hose. It's actually the second lightest among them, despite having a 5 foot longer cord, and as I mentioned, it has a hose, so you get the best of both worlds. As far as their raw power, the old ones and the hybrid, the EX151, use 8 amp motors, and most of the newer ones use 9.5 amp motors. We did two types of suction tests, one directly at the hose, if they had a hose, and what we called an unsealed suction test, which measures how much suction they have at the floor nozzle, where I think it counts the most for carpet cleaning. In terms of the hose suction, we found that the 9.5 amp models had the higher suction, with the flagship 304 having the most, significantly more suction than the previous flagship, the 201, for example. In terms of the unsealed suction test, it was much more even. All of them scored much higher than the average amount from all the other carpet cleaners we've tested, which was cool. One anomaly here, though, was with the 304, which, although it had higher than average sealed suction, it was noticeably lower than the other Sharks with unsealed suction. Either this was an operator error on our part, but I suspect the reason for this is that the 304 is the only one that automatically shifts its suction from the hose to to the floor head when you lean it back. The other Sharks with a hose have a physical switch that you have to remember to engage when you want to use the hose or go back to using it in floor mode. So I suspect that this difference in construction was the reason. In any case, this did not seem to affect the 304's actual performance, and this is a good time to talk about the new stain test. We now use exactly 10 milliliters of grape juice, which is then dried at least 24 hours, and then use the machine exactly as directed with the appropriate type and amount of solution. We then do 4 timed back and forth passes, allow it to dry, and then measure the relative lightness of the stain using a colorimeter. And first, I should say that I was very impressed with all of these. They all had incredibly good stain reduction scores, and in some cases it seemed like the stain was completely removed on white carpet, which is not something I'm used to seeing without first pre-treating the stain. As far as the results, the flagship 304 was the winner, but it was essentially tied with the other newer ones, the 221, 151, and 251. Really, the only notable losers in the stain test were the first generation models, the 201 and the 121. This is notable because the 201, as I mentioned earlier, won our competition last year with a similar stain reduction score. So what that means to me is that Shark has really improved an already good design with this new generation. We also did limited testing of the hose for stain removal and compared the results with the Shark Stain Striker Spot Cleaner results, which we tested in the exact same way, which was by spraying the stain, waiting for 5 minutes, and scrubbing the stain for 1 minute. And here we found that the 304 hose with its standard attachment scored 87.9, which is about the same as the first generation upright stain results, and it's basically the exact same score as the Shark Stain Striker Spot Cleaner results. So I would say that using the hose is great for stairs and upholstery and pet beds, places that the upright can't get to, but it's not as good as using it in upright mode, especially if you have one of the newer models. Another important thing to consider is their various attachment sets. Those that have hoses come with different attachments. One thing that's totally unique to Shark is that there's one very small brush that's built into the hose, which I suppose would be good for super hard to get places, and all of them that have a hose have this attachment built in. All of them also come with a 3.5-inch reversible bristle tool, which I think is the best and most useful attachment. Though some models come with more attachments, for example, the 151 also comes with a 7-inch wide path tool, and both the old and new flagships come with a pet mess extractor tool, which you can use on still wet stains like urine, and it extracts the liquid into a removable reservoir. The 304 has the most attachments, and it's also the only one with an onboard self-cleaning system, where on top of the clean water tank, it has a module that will spray water into the hose to clean it. And cleaning the hose is critical, especially if you're picking up a lot of nasty messes. One thing that does need to be mentioned is their water tanks. They all have very similar water tank sizes, just over half a gallon, which is about half the capacity of the average carpet cleaner, and it's the one area that Sharks fall short of their competition. You can use the aforementioned low water mode to use less water, but if you're cleaning large areas with a Shark, you'll need to expect to refill and empty the tanks often. So after adding up all the scores, I have 2 models that I want to highlight. The first is the best overall winner, which was the Shark 304. Not only did it have the most features and best specs, it had the best stain removal score out of all of them, and it does all this while being lighter than average and selling for the same basic price as other flagships from Hoover and Bissell. That brings me to the other standout of this competition, our best value pick, the Shark Carpet Expert EX151. This is the hybrid I was talking about. It has the same smaller, lighter body as the ones without a hose, but it has a hose. It came in second place in the stain removal competition. It also has the longest cord. But the best thing about it is that it's selling at a significant discount compared to the other second generation models, and it's a great all-around pick for the money. Check the links in the description to the winners and to our best carpet cleaner page on our website, which we keep updated regularly, and be sure to subscribe if you're interested in the best overall carpet cleaner video, which we're currently in the middle of working on. Thanks for watching. All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new top 20 robot vacuums list, which is updated weekly.